Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I've been away for about 2 years. I've been meaning to get back into it. Haven't had a chance, but here I am. Back again, happy to be doing these review videos. Like I say, it's been a long time, but I'm happy to get back into it. So, today's video, I did say I was going to do a review video on Spider-Man Brand New Day. So I'm sticking to that. I'm also including the future of the MCU, like its future films from Doomsday to Secret Wars to what's going to be happening in 2028. I'll probably go back again onto past films, just to like comparisons. Yeah, type of comparison thing. I'm looking forward to get back into it. So, I'll get started. What can I say about Spider-Man Brand New Day? Amazing! And I'm not just going through that from the Amazing Spider-Man. Honestly, I had a film of the year for about 3 months. It was the Michael Jackson film, Michael. Loved that one. That was my film of the year. I've got to say, Spider-Man, beating it by a long shot. I'm not joking. This has probably been the best film that I have seen in a long time. And I love movies. Literally. For the last year or two, I have been watching a whole bunch of new movies that I never thought I would. I've been getting proper into it. But Spider-Man was the climate. Literally, I've been bigging it up since it got announced. The trailers were incredible. What I didn't do for the first time ever was give myself any spoilers. So when it came to it, I only just watched the 2 trailers. I never watched any clips that would be happening in the film. Never watched any little TV spots that they always put on Twitter or onto YouTube, because there's always something. There's always that little clip that will be on there that you feel like you want to be interested in, you want to watch it, you just want to share it to your friends and share the experience. I never did that. And I will not be doing that either with Avengers Doomsday. No way. Just the trailers, that's all I need. So, literally, what can I say about Spider-Man? Loved it. Like I said, best film I've ever seen for a while. And honestly, the villains, the actors, just the whole thing, proper cinema. Like, the whole cinema that I was at, it was packed. And living in Carlisle, being in a packed cinema, that's a huge deal. So, yeah, I will clarify as well, I am doing this spoiler free. I'm not going to be saying what's happened in the film. I maybe mention a couple of the villains, and that's it. Apart from the one who people don't want to know about in case they haven't watched the film yet. So I'll be careful of that one, and that is including Sadie Sink's character. People might know who she is now, they might not, so, there's been a lot of theories about that. And I know who she is, which I think is pretty awesome. But, yeah. So, really, this movie, we all know it's about, well, it's right after the events of what happened in the last film. Coming to Doctor Strange's spell, you see everyone forgetting about Peter Parker. They know about Spider-Man, they don't know who he is. Completely no identity whatsoever. He's just like a nameless guy. Quite literally. But, yeah, you see this film going forward 4 years later, and the last Spider-Man movie for all of us, that was back in 2021 with Spider-Man No Way Home. With that one, you saw all the past villains returning from Maguire and Garfield's films. So you saw like Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Lizard, Electro, Sandman. You see all of them back. And then you've got Maguire and Garfield back as well. So, yeah, that one was a pretty hard film to top, especially considering how many great villains you had back again. You know, it's like the legacy of the past coming into the future. And then you see this film, Brand New Day, you just see how much of an impact you get. I mean, mostly this one, you could say with this film, it was like having some of the older villains back that you would have in, say, video games and stuff. So, for instance, they had Scorpion, who was in Spider-Man Homecoming, but only as a post-credit scene, and that's all you see of him. But whereas if you play the Spider-Man game, he is actually one of the main villains in the game, and you go face-to-face with him. You see the Hand, which is like those ninja group, that like high-kicking ninja group, who were mostly seen in Daredevil, season 2, I think it might have been. Sounds about right. And then you've got the Hulk again. You've actually got Bruce Banner back, as you would have seen in the trailers, so it's not really a spoiler. But no, seeing Hulk again, that was amazing. Me and my mate in the cinema, we were literally just going, yes! Completely getting in the way of our other mate, so whoops. But then again, that's just the excitement of Hulk. And then you've got Sadie Sink's character, which was completely insane. An amazing villain. And you've also got the Punisher back as well, but he's not really a villain in this case. He's just more like a wants to be on his own type of guy. But then again, with his character, you kind of understand why. We all know what he went through in Daredevil. He went through a lot of hell. And I never actually watched that little film he did either this year. So, whoops. I was going to watch that as kind of like a little reminder, but I didn't. But with this film, you know, you just see Peter's vulnerability. You see him on his own. You see him kind of like in a new maturity. So, going back to when we first saw Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man, back in 2016, I think, if I've got my dates right. I mean, I didn't watch the MCU until 2021. So, yeah, I can't say I was there for any of the events back in the past, because I wasn't. I was a lot later. I first started watching in February 2021, when I was bored and there was nothing on TV. So, my first film was Black Widow. Properly. But yeah, no, Tom Holland's Spider-Man back then in Civil War, he was like the 14 to 15-year-old kid. He was very, you know, adolescent type of guy. And then you see him again in his own film. You've got Spider-Man Homecoming, and he's like, at the beginning of the film, you see him documenting like what he did before when he got his new Spider-Man suit created by Tony Stark. And yeah, he's completely different this time now. He's got his own apartment, he's got his brand new suit, because presumably all of his old suits wouldn't work for him because he's no longer known by Tony Stark's tech. At least I would say his AI is very much similar. But yeah, well, you see him as just like this big hero now. Like, Spider-Man is pretty much loved by everyone again. You see him fighting out in the streets, all that crime stuff. You know, it's very much like the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield films. You know, you actually see him properly in Manhattan this time. You don't see him in, like, Queens. You've actually seen him this time in a new light. He is the Spider-Man in the city. He's not the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man anymore. He's the full Spider-Man. And yeah, it just it killed. Honestly, it just killed in that aspect. It was amazing. And I've got to admit, when I first watched the film, I mean, I do need to see it again. it kind of felt like I was hearing Tobey Maguire. It's like there were certain points in the film where I was thinking, wait, is that Tom Holland or is it Tobey Maguire? Because they sounded very similar to each other. But yeah, but seeing the older characters back again, like you've got Ned and MJ, they're back again. And that was just amazing, seeing those two as well. It's like you can see a type of sadness behind their eyes because there's something missing and they don't know what it is. And it's just like, oh. But yeah, completely amazing film. Absolutely loved it. Movie of the year. But that could definitely be beaten by the next one. And I'm not talking about Spider-Man. No. Avengers Doomsday. And we are in August now. So it is officially 4 months. Well, over 4 months until Avengers Doomsday. Now that one I am definitely look forward to. The trailer was released for it about a week ago, and honestly, I've watched it so many times now, I can't get over about how amazing it looks. I'm proper excited for it. You've got Chris Evans returning again as Steve Rogers. You've got Ant-Man returning. You've got the new Avengers from Thunderbolts from last year. You've got the Fantastic Four coming in, the Wakandans, the original X-Men. And honestly, it's a lot to live up to. But the biggest one they've got, and this is going to be huge to a lot of people, Robert Downey Jr. coming in as Doctor Doom. So for Robert Downey Jr. to even come back in after Endgame, where his former character Tony Stark died at the end of the film, I think this one is going to be a lot to live up to. Now, from people who have watched the trailer, at the beginning of it you do hear Doom's voice, Latvian accent, and intimidating to say the least. You've got this like persona of like badass aspects, and you just like, but question is, will it work? Now, so for those people who have kept up with the MCU for years going on ahead, obviously there was a bit of a backtrack. So back in 2022, they had this vision of what they were going to do for future films. So we all knew that big things were coming, really. They had a lot of projects announced. There was all this big hype up at the San Diego Comic-Con. There were a whole load of new films that we had. Starting off with you had it starting off with Phase 5. Because I think at that point, Phase 4 was like halfway in between. So it was looking good. Because the last film of Phase 4, if I remember, I think it was Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And then in 2023, this is when you get the beginning of Phase 5. So they had a whole load of stuff for it. You had Kang the Conqueror coming in as being the big main villain. Hence why they were going to do Avengers Kang Dynasty. It wasn't going to be Doomsday, but then there was that whole stuff with Jonathan Majors, which turned into a big mess. But then there was just a load of film projects that didn't really hit the ground as successfully as what we hoped. I said this to a friend the other day, that what they're doing with these future projects, they need to be careful, because it's taken a long time to get the fandom back again, which I would say Spider-Man has done, and what we'll continue to do hopefully with Avengers Doomsday, because it's a lot to live up to. So Ant-Man the Wasp it had the potential, but then it just ended up to be a big flop. Then you've got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which then was amazing, which topped it back up again, because you've got your Guardians back. Which I'm very surprised they're not a part of Doomsday, but that could be a thing for Secret Wars, who knows. Then you had the Marvels, which just did not... No. But then you've got Deadpool and Wolverine. That was 2 years ago. That was funny as hell. Bringing back Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds for it. Very good. And then last year you had your big three films. So you had Captain America Brave New World. And then you had Thunderbolts. And then you had the Fantastic Four. And then obviously leading up into everything for Doomsday. Because all of the post-credit scenes had a link, at least. Which is a good thing. And I would say this Spider-Man film also had one, but who am I to say? Not my choice. But yeah, that's where we go with Doomsday. We've got the big hype for it. We've got all the characters coming back, apart from those who are not returning. So, like some of the original Avengers, like Clint and Hulk, we don't know about them. Doctor Strange, the Guardians, they're definitely not returning, as far as we're aware. Might get a few more characters, who knows? But then we move on to Avengers Secret Wars, which is next year in December. So, still a while to go. Now, I don't really know that much about Secret Wars, to be honest. I've seen the comic, like, just the cover of it. But, no, the way I'm doing it is I'm having my focus on Spider-Man and Avengers Doomsday for this year. Focus on all the other stuff later on, because, you know, it's good to get it in your head. So, but no, for Secret Wars next year, I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't know if they're going to do like an Infinity War Endgame type of thing with like Doom being the victor in this film, and then the next one he gets defeated. I don't know how they're going to do that, but either way, I'm here for it. So that's 2027 with Avengers Secret Wars, but then 2028. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. As it stood at San Diego Comic-Con, just recently gone, they did announce Ghost Rider, and featuring that is Ryan Gosling. He is playing the main guy. I can't remember his name, and if I'm being honest, I haven't watched those previous films. I know Nicolas Cage was Ghost Rider, so I think after Secret Wars next year, I will watch those movies, because, you know, it's kind of like a bit of research in a way. So I can kind of get a better understanding of what Ghost Rider is like. And plus, I know it was associated with Marvel, because that's what they do. They associate with Marvel, and then later on it can come into the MCU, bit like Spider-Man films. But, yeah, right now I'm not really sure about how I feel about that. Right now it's more just an interest type of thing, like an intriguing. So I think I just made up a word there, I don't know, but I am intrigued for it. So we'll see how that goes. But then they announced Black Panther 3, which we all love a bit of Black Panther. I mean, the first one, amazing. Like, Chadwick Boseman, obviously, a hell of a loss right there. You know, we lost a really good actor there, with him being as T'Challa as Black Panther. You know, he was amazing. His first film was incredible. You see him again in Infinity War and Endgame again, and plus we saw him back in Civil War as well. That was his introduction. But this time we've got his son coming in, Toussaint, aka T'Challa Jr., who was seen at the end of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. He was just a little boy. But they've said that this time he's taken on the mantle of Black Panther. He's going to be replacing Shuri, which I don't know whether that's going to be like a spoiler, because does that mean Shuri is fighting in Secret Wars next year? Is she going to survive? It seems like it. But I am intrigued to see how they do it, because I do love the Black Panther films, and I would say between Ghost Rider and Black Panther 3, that one's probably going to be the one I want to see. Like, yeah, that one seems to be the one that'll maybe get the most excitement of it. But who knows? I mean, that one is in December 2028, Black Panther, and Ghost Rider, I think that was mid-2028. I don't think they actually had a specific date for it, but they did with BP3. It was like 15th of December or something, the 18th, I don't know. But yeah, they've got like a 3-year type of span here with December MCU films. I mean, Avengers Doomsday this year, Secret Wars next year, and then Black Panther the year after. Obsession with December or something, who knows. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what they do with it. I mean, who knows? But like I say, my focus right now is on Spider-Man and Doomsday, so like focus on the ones this year, and then whatever happens after that, it's fine. Although I do know they recently just cancelled Wonder Man, so yeah, that's not very good, because the season they just did on that was amazing. But I suppose if there's nothing really to work with, then it's shutters on it, I suppose. But no, yeah. So back to where I was earlier. Spider-Man, absolutely great film. Film of the year. Honestly, if you haven't seen it, go and see it, because this is the one that people have been talking about. I mean, it will be for, I would say, at least a month or two, but then you've got Avengers Doomsday, so the hype will be up for it. But Spider-Man was one of the best films I've seen, probably one of the best out of all of them. I mean, that's all I could say. The best out of all of them, I'd say. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the Tobey Maguire films, Andrew Garfield just as good, but Tom Holland's film that he's just done, up there. Completely up there with the rest of the MCU films, and honestly, I can't wait to see what else happens with it. What else they do with Tom Holland, if they'll bring him back as Spider-Man. I would say they will. I'd say they will. They can't not, because yeah, he's an amazing actor who honestly has delivered Spider-Man to its goal. He's done well. But yeah, I think I'll call it there for this video, and hopefully I'll be back soon with something else. I mean, knowing me, I will come up with something. So yeah, until the next video, I hope you all do well. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the video. If you've got any feedback, I'd love to hear it. So yeah, I'll see you all later.